Whoops. I'm dropping my... Oh my god. Come on, seriously. Not the way I wanted to start this video. Let me just move this. Okay. Today we are going to review... Oh my god, why does this microphone do this all the time? I need a new headset so badly. Hopefully gonna have one in a couple of paychecks, just I'm behind on. Anyway, doesn't matter. Today we are going to review the movie Six Underground with Ryan Reynolds. This is basically, as far as I can explain it, it's kind of like Deadpool leading a team of assassins is the best way to probably describe this movie. Because it was basically like Deadpool humor throughout a good chunk of this movie. Sorry, I'm sitting in this shirt and it's choking me to death. Anyhow, this is my Game of Thrones shirt from when I went to see the orchestra live a couple of years ago. Anyway, now I'm kind of rambling on. I'll probably wear this for most of my Game of Thrones reviews when I finally do those. I do have a couple other Game of Thrones shirts, but now, yeah. Anyhow, I'm rambling. So, this is about a billionaire who fakes his own death just so he can basically stay hidden while he decides that he is going to save the world, basically. So the movie starts out with this mission in London, I believe it was. That obviously goes horribly wrong because one of their men dies, and they don't go by their true names, they go by a number. So he's number 1, there's number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, who all had different professions before they were they faked their own deaths to become these ghosts, basically, or that's what they call themselves, ghosts. So they have no digital footprint whatsoever, even though that would be incredibly hard to do in this day and age. None of them do, and he basically is the leader of the team because obviously he's the brains of most of these operations. And before he passed away, I guess, in his own way, due to a plane crash that he obviously staged. But anyhow, number 2 dies in their London mission, so they have to find... Was it number 2? No, it was number 6 that died, sorry. Or is that right, either? It had to have been number 6. Yeah, it was number 6 that died because he was the driver. So they have to go find the number 7. Ryan Reynolds' character, number 1, is able to go find a number 7. He was an ex-military man who lost his whole team due to the fact that his commanding officer told him not to pull the trigger, even though the van with the UN symbol was completely backwards. It said NU. So he knew that it wasn't right what was happening, and then the van blows up and kills his whole team. So he had to live with that. I think he was seconds away from committing suicide when Ryan Reynolds' character, number 1, says, "Hey, we need somebody like you. Will you come with us to overthrow the government in Turkestan?" Because that is their next mission. Now, they've only done one mission so far in this movie, as you find out that number 4 tells number 7. So, obviously, they're not professionals at this, but they haven't even done any other small missions. It seems they just take on the bigger ones. But it is completely understandable because number 1, who beforehand was, I guess, in Turkestan before, had gas dropped on him, so he wants to overthrow the leader of Turkestan with his and replace him with his brother because his brother believes in democracy, and obviously the leader now wants a dictatorship, so they don't want that. They want to be able to overthrow the government and bring peace back to the country of Turkestan. Oh, I'm just itchy. Got an itch. Anyhow, so first of all, they have to basically get the brother out of this high-rise prison that his brother's keeping him in, so that they are able to get him out and start staging their coup in order to overthrow the current leader of Turkestan and bring peace back to the country. I know it's kind of a nice prison, but it's not probably where he wants to be. So these guys get him out, not without any issues, obviously, because it seems they always have some sort of issue when they're doing these missions. It starts out good, but it doesn't end well. I mean, at least all of them survive the second mission, and then they kind of go on to this third mission where they make this. I believe he was the prime minister is what. So the prime minister of Turkestan, they get on his boat and they make it into one giant magnet, and oh my god, that scene was just absolutely insane, where the Kevlar vests are just basically magnetizing all these guys from one side of the boat to the other. It was just like a giant death trap, basically, for anybody who was on this boat besides them, because I believe they have some sort of like special vests on so that they wouldn't get obviously thrown around the boat, but holy crap. Ryan Reynolds' character is extremely smart in this movie, and I believe he was developing some sort of magnet for phones or something, or some sort of magnet for devices, I do believe. But obviously he knows how to amplify that and make it way bigger for the boat so that it's easy for them to obviously get the prime minister and get out of there. And then I believe their mission was just to kill him, obviously, because that's what they do at the end. They just throw him down to the ground to the rebels when they get him on the helicopter. And they realize, and then he realizes that his brother's already on the helicopter, so they just basically kind of throw him to the wolves to die, and then peace is obviously restored in the country of Turkestan, and then these guys go home. And throughout the movie, they kind of do develop this connection after they bring in number 7, because they do begin to tell each other their names, except for number 1. We never learn number 1's true name. Because he doesn't want to feel any sort of emotional connection to any of them, and he doesn't want them to feel the same way about them, because he always says that the mission is more important than the person. He says if someone's going to die, you have to leave them behind, even though on the boat he does break his own rule and save number 4. So I guess he felt something for him, but he never calls them by their real names anyway, even after they've all given up their real names, because I guess that was supposed to be part of it, so that you didn't have any emotional bond with the people in the group that they were developing, right? So that when somebody died, it was like, oh, they just died, and we have to replace them, and then they kind of continue to carry on in their group, right? Which would have made sense. But unfortunately, they just become way too connected when they bring in the military man, because he's already had that devastation happen to him where soldiers got left behind, and now he doesn't want to leave anybody behind. He's not going to have that happen to him again. So he wants to be able to protect the entire group. I mean, it does bring them a little bit closer together. So in a way, they start working more as a team instead of individuals, even though they do definitely have their differences because they all came from different backgrounds. So they do get into some arguments of their own sometimes. But some of their disguises were pretty funny too. And obviously this movie was directed by Michael Bay, so it was just action-packed from beginning to end. Plenty of death and destruction in this movie, I would say. It was like watching a Transformers movie, but just instead of Transformers exploding everything, it was just Ryan Reynolds and his crew. Or number 1 and his crew, sorry. But oh my god, this movie had jokes in it, obviously, because it's Ryan Reynolds, and he can't go through a movie without being absolutely comedic, which worked so well for this character anyway, because he was the billionaire asshole, so it worked for him. And I believe one of them was a hitman, one of them was a doctor, soldier, obviously, and I can't remember the other couple, but Obviously, number 6 at the beginning was a driver, right? Probably some sort of stunt driver. And number 4, I don't really know what he did before, but oh my god, that guy knew parkour. And his action scenes, I'm not sure if he did his own stunts, but if he did, holy crap, the stuff that he had to do was absolutely nuts. And I'm not sure how much protective equipment he would have had on, like harness-wise, for some of those jumps, but those scenes were probably the craziest. And the soundtrack for this movie was absolutely fantastic. It worked so well for the different scenes that they chose to use them in. It just complemented the scene that much more. I just wanted to touch on that briefly. And I think that's all I have to say for this movie. Obviously, this movie is 10 out of 10. If you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. And be wary if you're... what's the... There's a lot of death in this movie, and it's pretty graphic, some of it. So if you're a little squeamish, maybe don't watch this movie, because your stomach might turn at some of these scenes. But anyhow, it is a good action movie. So if you're into action movies, I would say definitely go watch it. And if you're not squeamish of anything, then yeah, definitely view this movie. And yeah, 10 out of 10 on this movie, soundtrack and everything. And I think that's it for now. I've covered everything that I can think of anyhow. So please like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If not, again, please go watch it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye for now.